Hello team, welcome back to our brand new channel QA Simplify. So as title suggests, verification versus validation. So our today's topic is more briefly about what is verification, what is validation, and how it is getting differ from each other. So as we know that in our channel QA Simplify, we are making software testing simple and very practical. So in today's video, we will clear the confusion between verification and validation once and for all. So let's begin with our content. What is verification? So first of all, we will cover what is verification with the proper practical examples and their use cases. Okay, so let's begin. So verification, its name suggests its meaning. So verification means just to verify what should we do. Okay. So let's start with the exact definition. So verification is the process of checking whether the software is being built correctly or not, like that. For example, I will repeat, verification is the process of checking whether the software is being built correctly or not. So it's about ensuring the product design meets the specified requirement before the actual product is getting complete. Okay, so there are some key points are there. For example, static process where we don't need execution of the code. So verification is the static process in which we don't directly need the execution of the code. So it's generally focused on the documents, just like the design documents, requirement documents, as well as some base document or source of truth documents. And a few of the activities that will be covered under the verification state is just like the reviews, walkthroughs, and inspection. So what is review? So generally, whenever the tester write the test cases or the developer creates his initial technical document or the business analyst create the requirement document. So before giving to the other person, they are internally get reviewed. So uh, in perspective of testers, whenever he write the test cases, so internally he will get reviewed. So that is the part of the verification. So in place of business analyst, whenever he writes any requirement, so he will or his colleague will get reviewed by whatever document he had created is correct or not. So that process is called as a verification. So for example, in real life, if you are suppose if you are building a house, verification is just like checking the blueprint or the plan of the building to ensure that it has a right number of rooms before actual construction is getting begin. So I hope you all guys are getting cleared about what is verification exactly it is. Okay, so let's move to our next slide with the key differences. Okay, before that, maybe we will cover what is validation, and then we will move to the a difference between verification and validation. Okay, so as we know that validation, it is the process of checking whether the right software is getting built or not. Okay, and as a verification is a static process, so with respect to that, validation is the dynamic process. Okay, so in simple word, validation is the process of checking whether the right software is getting built. It's about ensuring the product actually meets the user's need. For example, we do have certain requirement and we do have certain output based on that requirement. Okay. So whenever we have developed any software, it is meeting the expected result that has been mentioned in the requirement or not, that is covered under validation. Okay, so we do have certain key points for the validation. So first one is validation is the dynamic process which requires the code execution. So for implementation of particular code, we need an proper output with respect to the requirement. So after the execution of code, we will get the expected results. So it is a dynamic process. Second point, it is focus on the actual product testing, not on the just reviewing of the documents with respect to the verification. So activities such as the functional testing, system testing, and UAT testing, these are come in the validation phase. So we will go with the real life example for the understanding of the validation process. So suppose in the same house analogy, validation is like walking through the finished house to see if it matches what you wanted and if it is livable. Just like, so in verification, what we see, oh, how whatever rooms we are needed, that is mentioned in the plan or not. So in validation, we will check whether based on the document or the plan, the rooms has been created or not. So like that. I hope you guys are clear on the validation. So let's move to our next slide, which is key differences between validation and verification. So as we know that uh, verification is just like, are we building the product, whatever product we are building, is it right or not? And in validation, it came like whatever product we have built, it is a right product or not. Okay. So verification is the static process and validation is the dynamic process. So verification is came early in the development stage, like before developing software, and validation is come after the development once the software is getting developed. So verification is a process oriented and it mainly focuses on the process, whereas validation mainly focus on the product, what are were the end result, that is focuses on the validation. So verification involves documents, designs, and the requirements. Okay. So whereas validation involves actual software and its end results. Okay. So examples of verification are reviews and walkthroughs, whereas examples of validation is a proper testing, just like UAT testing, smoke testing, regression testing, sanity testing. That all the fields are came under the validation. Okay. So we will move to our next slide, which is a quick memory tip. So just remember this thing. Verification is just like teacher checking your homework, instruction before you start writing. Okay. And validation is the teacher grading your completed homework. Okay. I think from this quick memory tip, you will get easily understand what is verification and what is validation. Okay. So based on that, so what we have covered what is validation, what is verification, and their key differences. So that's verification versus validation are the two pillars that ensures both the process and the product are right. If you found this helpful, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe the QA Simplify for more clear and practical and QA concepts. So let's stay tuned. We will meet in our next lecture with our exciting content. So thanks a lot for joining.